こんにちは皆さん。お元気ですか? Welcome to the advanced course of my channel. Let's learn Japanese with Eric. In this lesson, we'll study how to express will and intent, primarily by the pseudonoun Tsumori, and also with the pattern yo to omou. よろしいですか? 始めましょう. Expressing will and intent in Japanese is usually a first-person affair, because Japanese people don't like to assume to know what other people's will and intent are. The easiest way to express intent is through an ordinary sentence saying, I will, such as, I will eat Japanese food. The second pattern is to use a volitional sentence in the pattern, I think I will. I think I will eat Japanese food. And the third pattern is to say, I intend to, as in, I intend to eat Japanese food. Let's look at each one of these. For the ordinary sentence, I will eat Japanese food, we simply say, 私は和食を食べます. 私は和食を食べます. Straight and simple. I will eat Japanese food. For the volitional pattern, I think I will, we use yo to omou. Yo to omou, where yo is the plain volitional form of the verb. We use yo to omou to express intent at the spur of the moment. You can learn how to make the yo form of verbs in lesson 34. So to say, I think I will eat Japanese food in Japanese would be, 私は和食を食べようと思います. 私は和食を食べようと思います. And to say that it isn't a spur-of-the-moment decision and that you've been thinking about it for a while, you can say, 私は和食を食べようと思っています. 私は和食を食べようと思っています. And to express the will and intent of a third person using yo to omou, say for example this sentence, Mr. Smith thinks he will eat Japanese food. Then we have to say, スミスさんは和食を食べようと思っています. スミスさんは和食を食べようと思っています. We have to use the progressive conjugation and not 思います. Or we can reword the sentence to say, Mr. Smith says he will eat Japanese food. And that would be, スミスさんは和食を食べようと言っています. スミスさんは和食を食べようと言っています. In the third pattern, I intend to, say, I intend to eat Japanese food. We say, 私は和食を食べるつもりです. 私は和食を食べるつもりです. We use the pseudonoun tsumori to express intent, and this is where the gist of our lesson begins. Tsumori is a pseudonoun and it means intention. It cannot be used alone. Grammatically, tsumori has two uses. The first is to express intention, and the second is to express that someone mistakenly thinks something. For the intention function, tsumori is used with the non-past form of verbs, meaning the ru and nai forms, and demonstrative pronouns. For the mistakenly think that function, tsumori is used with adjectives, both i and na adjectives, the plain past and te-iru form of verbs, and nouns. Let's look at each of these functions. For the intention function, tsumori can be used with demonstrative pronouns such as kono, sono, and ano to form kono tsumori, sono tsumori, and ano tsumori. This intention and that intention. It is also often used with verbs, and the verb must be a controllable verb, meaning the speaker can perform and control the action, such as eat, sleep, drink, and so on. The verb is in the non-past form, meaning the ru and nai forms. These are the frequently used patterns of the verbs and tsumori. Ru tsumori da, I intend to do nantoka nantoka. Da here is the plain form of the verb des. Nai tsumori da, I intend to not do. る or ないつもりがある. There's the intention to do or not do. る or ないつもりはない. There is no intention to do or not do なんとかなんとか. And る or ないつもりではない. It's not the intention to do or not to do なんとかなんとか. Let me illustrate those patterns using one idea. I intend to eat Japanese food. 和食を食べるつもりです. I intend not to eat Japanese food. 和食を食べないつもりです. I have an intention to eat Japanese food. 和食を食べるつもりがある. I have no intention to eat Japanese food. 和食を食べるつもりはない. And it's not the intention to eat Japanese food. 和食を食べるつもりではない. Now let's look at other examples. I intend to go to Tokyo for work. 仕事に東京に行くつもりだ. 仕事に東京に行くつもりだ. I intend to sleep early tonight. 今夜早く寝るつもりです. 今夜早く寝るつもりです. I don't intend to work in Tokyo. You can reword this too. I have no intention to work in Tokyo. 東京で仕事するつもりはありません. 東京で仕事するつもりはありません. You can also negate the verb and say, 東京で仕事しないつもりです. 東京で仕事しないつもりです. But this sounds harsher and more direct. I intend to buy a new car. 新しい車を買うつもりです. 新しい車を買うつもりです. I intend to succeed this time. 今度成功するつもりです. 今度成功するつもりです. I have no intention of marrying him. 彼と結婚するつもりはない. 彼と結婚するつもりはない. This is a very common expression. What do you intend to do? どうするつもりですか? どうするつもりですか? It's raining though. Are you still going out? 雨が降っていますけど、まだ出かけますか? 雨が降っていますけど、まだ出かけますか? Yes, I do. はい、そのつもりですが。はい、そのつもりですが。The second use of tsumori is to express that someone mistakenly thinks that なんとかなんとか. In these sentences, the outcome or reality is different from the original intention. And again, tsumori can't be used alone. For this function, it's used with adjectives, both i and na adjectives, verbs in the plain past form or ta form, and the progressive form or te-iru form to make sarcastic sentences. And also with nouns, where the meaning is to pretend to be なんとかなんとか. おじいさんは自分がまだ若いつもりです. おじいさんは自分がまだ若いつもりです. Grandpa thinks that he's still young. Of course, this is to mistakenly think he's still young. 彼女は自分がきれいなつもりなんですよ. 彼女は自分がきれいなつもりなんですよ. She thinks that she's beautiful, you know. Again, she thinks by mistake that she's beautiful. 彼は歌が上手なつもりなんだけど。彼は歌が上手なつもりなんだけど。He thinks mistakenly that he's a good singer, though. 宿題をもう出したつもりだったが、まだ出されていないんだ。宿題をもう出したつもりだったが、まだ出されていないんだ。I thought by mistake that I already submitted the homework, but It hasn't been submitted yet. 出されていない is a passive form conjugation of the verb 出す to submit, and you can review the passive conjugation in lesson 79. 一生懸命勉強したつもりだったが、なんとかなんとか。一生懸命勉強したつもりだったが、なんとかなんとか。I thought that I studied so hard, but... Now the second half of the sentence is unmentioned but understood. That I still failed or I didn't pass, totally the opposite of what one would expect by studying so hard. それで、仕事してるつもりですか？それで、仕事しているつもりですか？ So, is that what you call working? Now this is a sarcastic sentence. 冗談のつもりで言いましたが、冗談のつもりで言いましたが、I meant it as a joke, but なんとかなんとか。The second part is unmentioned, but again understood to be the opposite of how a joke is to be taken. Perhaps the listener got angry, or the listener took it as true. 彼女は病気でもないのに、病気のつもりでいます。彼女は病気でもないのに、病気のつもりでいます。Although she's not even sick, she pretends to be sick. Noni is a conjunction which means although, and you can review this in lesson 78. This is another common expression of giving shade. 何様のつもりよ? 何様のつもりよ? Who do you think you are? And this is an accusatory expression. どういうつもりですか? どういうつもりですか? Literally, it means, how do you call the intention? In other words, what's your intention or what do you think you're doing? Another accusatory expression. 何のつもりでそんなことを言うの? 何のつもりでそんなことを言うの? For what intention will you say such a thing? Or in other words, why will you say such a thing? To summarize, expressing will and intent in Japanese is usually a first-person affair, as Japanese people don't like to assume to know what others' will and intent are. There are three main ways to express intent. First is using an ordinary sentence. I will do nantoka nantoka. Second is to use a volitional sentence using the pattern yo to omou. I think I will do nantoka nantoka. You use this for at the spur of the moment decisions. And the third is to say outright, I intend to nantoka nantoka using the pseudonoun Tsumori. As a pseudonoun, Tsumori has two main functions. When expressing intentions, it is used with the plain non-past forms of controllable verbs, the ru or nai forms, as well as with demonstrative pronouns such as kono, sono, and ano. The second function of Tsumori is to express that someone mistakenly thinks, meaning the result or outcome is the total opposite of the original intention. In this case, Tsumori is used with adjectives, the plain past form, and the progressive form of verbs. With a V-te-iru form, it means someone is pretending to do something. And with nouns, someone is pretending to be someone they're not. And this ends our lesson on will and intent and the pseudonoun Tsumori. お疲れ様でした. If you're serious about becoming fluent in Japanese, it's important to practice daily, learn grammar, and build up vocabulary. My whole course is designed to give you a strong basic foundation in the Japanese language that you can build solidly upon. So please click like, share, or subscribe and watch the next video in the series. 日本語の勉強に頑張ってください。じゃあ、またね。